Good day, everyone. Today, I'll talk about test hypothesis for a single sample. First, what is hypothesis testing? Hypothesis testing is a statistical method used to decide if there is enough evidence to support or reject a specific claim about a population. It involves comparing sample data to what we expect under the assumption that a claim is true. So, hypothesis testing is like making a guess about something and then checking if your guess is right by looking at some information. If information doesn't match your guess, you say your guess might be wrong. What is statistical hypothesis? Statistical hypothesis, it's like making a guess about a big group. For example, I think most kids in my class are 4 feet tall. 4 feet tall. So, what is the difference of hypothesis testing and statistical hypothesis? So, a statistical hypothesis is the guess, while and hypothesis testing is checking the guess. Okay, so we have types of hypothesis, which is sample hypothesis, um, and composite hypothesis. So simple hypothesis is specifies exact values for the parameter, and the composite hypothesis is specifies a range or inequality inequality. Sim- uh, Simple hypothesis is like saying, I think the number of candies in jar is exactly 50. So, exact siya. And the composite hypothesis, this is like saying, I think the number of candies in jar is more than 50. So, guess, yung composite hypothesis is more than sa gina-expect. And yung simple hypothesis is exact lang dun ba? Exact lang sa guess niya. So,
So, after the discussion about the first topic, let's go to the one-sided and two-sided hypothesis. The one-sided hypothesis or the directional hypothesis. It's a statement that predicts the direction of the effect or relationship between variables. It specifies whether one variable will increase or decrease. It predicts a specific direction of changes. For example, a researcher wants to test whether a new teaching method improves student score. In null hypothesis, the new teaching method affects on student scores, and the alternative hypothesis, the new teaching method will increase the student scores by 10%. In null hypothesis state that there is no effect of the new teaching method on student scores, while the alternative specifies that the new teaching method will increase student score by a certain amount of 10%. Two-sided or non-directional hypothesis. A statement that indicates there is a difference or relationship between variables without specifying the direction of the effect. Simply state that one variable affects another variable. It doesn't predict whether the effect will be positive or negative. For example, a researcher wants to test whether a new teaching method affects students' scores compared to the traditional method. In null hypothesis, the new teaching method has no effect on students' scores, while the alternative hypothesis, the new teaching method has a different effect on students' scores compared to the traditional method. The null hypothesis states there is no effect of new teaching method on the student's score, while the alternative states that there that the new teaching method has a different effect, whether the effect will be an increase or decrease. And that would be all from my report. Thank you.
Hello everyone, so today I'm going to discuss about p-value in hypothesis test. What is p-value? P-value is a probability between 0 and 1 with the assumption that the null hypothesis is true. P-value is an evidence against the null hypothesis in statistics. P-value is also known as the probability value. It is the smallest level of significance at which the null hypothesis is rejected. P-value are generally expressed as decimal, although it may be easier if you convert them into percentage. Smaller the p-value, stronger the evidence that you should reject the null hypothesis. So if you convert this into percentage, it comes to 5%, which means that there is a 5% chance that your result would be random, that would have happened by chance. On the other hand, let's say for example 0.9 means that your result have 90% probability of being completely random and not due to anything in your experiment. Therefore, the smaller p-value, more the significance your result would be. Now, let us discuss some decision rules and how do we base on that. We will evaluate whether our result is significant or not. So, decision rules. To understand the decision rules, let's say first look the normal distribution curve, and these are the critical values. First rule says if p less than alpha, that is the significant level, then we can reject the null hypothesis if it falls in this red region, which is below the critical value. The term significant here means not anything major important, but it's mean that the difference between two means is not likely due to chance, and as the p gets further lower, the evidence allow you to reject the null hypothesis gets more stronger here. The second rule is if the p is greater than alpha, that means we fail to reject the null hypothesis, which falls in the green region here. The p-value lies between 0 and 1. It won't reach exact 1 because in real life the group will probably not exactly perfect equal, and it's also not reach 0 because there always a possibility even if it is extreme. So alpha here denotes the level of significance and how you calculate. You calculate from 1 minus confidence level here. So example number 1. Single population mean. Vendor claims that the average weight of box is 1.84 kilogram. Customer randomly choose 64 parts and find a sample weight as 1.88 kilogram. Suppose population standard deviation is 0.3 kilogram with alpha at 0.5. That is the level of significance we need to test for hypothesis that the true mean of shipment is 1.84 kilogram. So the null hypothesis is that mu is equal to 1.84 kilogram, and alternative, it is not equal to 1.84 kilogram, 1.8 kilogram. Alpha, or level of significance, is 0.5. So let's plot it on that normal distribution curve. We mark it in the area rejection area here. If it falls the red region, we will reject the null hypothesis. If it falls in between, we fail to reject the null hypothesis. So we'll use the z formula, that is x power minus mu by sigma by under root n. We'll put all this value here. We get the z calculated as 1.07. When we go back to z table, here we find out what is 1.07. So 1 from the z table on the last column and 0.7 from vertical column. So we get the 857. So this entry in this table is the standard normal curve to the left of the z value. That means I am getting p as 1 minus 0.8577 since the normal distribution is symmetrical. So area to the right of the curve is equal to that of left. That is why we have created the minus 0.5 and we get the p as 0.1423. So in this case, the p is greater than alpha, that is 1.4323 is greater than 0.05. So since p is more than significance level, so decision will be to fail to reject the null hypothesis here. So this is how we do it based on the p value.
Hello everyone, today I will be explaining the general procedures for testing a hypothesis. Hypothesis testing is a statistical method used to make decisions about properties of a population based on sample data. The general procedure for conducting hypothesis tests involves several systematic steps. Step 1. Define the hypothesis. The first step is to define two hypotheses: null hypothesis and alternative hypothesis. Null hypothesis, this is the default assumption, like there is no effect or no difference. While alternative hypothesis, this is what we want to prove, such as there being an effect or difference. Example: suppose we want to test if a new drug reduces blood pressure better than the current drug. So the null hypothesis is the new drug is the same as the old drug. Alternative hypothesis is the new drug is better than the old drug. Step 2. Choose the level of significance. Next, you decide on the level of significance, denote as alpha sign. This is the probability of rejecting the null hypothesis when it is true. Common values are 5% or 0.05 or 1% or 0.01. Example: for our drug study, we choose level of significance is equal 0.5, meaning we're willing to accept 5% chance of being true if we reject null hypothesis. Determine the test statistic. Step 3. The choice of test depends on the data. Z-test is used to large samples, known variance. T-test, small samples, unknown variance. X-squared test for categorical data. Example: since our study has small samples and unknown variance, we will use t-test. Step 4. Formulated decision rule. We identify the critical value based on significance level and type of test. This tells us where to reject null hypothesis. Example: for a one-tailed t-test with significance level is equal 0.05 and 18 degrees of freedom, the critical value is 1.734. If our test statistic is greater than 1.734, we reject null hypothesis. Step 5. Compute the test statistic. Now we calculate the test statistic using the sample data. Formula for a two-sample t-test, where sample mean, sample variance, sample size. Example calculation: new drug mean is equals 12, variance is equals 16, sample size is equals 10. All drug, mean is equals 8, variance equals 9, sample size equals 10. Step 6. Make a decision. Compare the computed test statistic for critical value. If the test statistic critical value reject null hypothesis and otherwise do not reject null hypothesis. Example, our t-value is 2.53, which is greater than the critical value of 1.734, so we reject null hypothesis. Step 7. State the conclusion. Now we explain the result in plain language. Example, at a 5% significance level, the new drug reduces blood pressure more effectively than standard drug. So, step 8. Verify assumption and consideration limitations. Finally, ensure the assumption of the test are met. Data should be normal distributed. Variance should be approximately equal. Also, be aware of errors. Type 1 error, rejecting null hypothesis when it's true. And type 2 error, not rejecting null hypothesis when it's false. Example, check if both drugs group data follow a normal distribution and similar variance.
Good day. My name is Julius Cesar R. Gabriel, BCPA 2A. Test on the mean of a normal distribution variance now. Hypothesis test on the mean. We wish to test H0 M equal M0. H1 M half equal M0. The test statistics is that's our problem. Test on the mean of a normal distribution variance now. These are our formula. Example, we will solve this problem by following the 8-step progress outlined in section 9, 1.4. This result is, number 1, the parameter of interest is M, the mean burning rate. Number 2, H0 M equal 50 centimeters per second. Number 3, H1 M half equal 50 centimeters per second. Number 4, the problem, the solution 0.05. Number 5, the test statistic is the our problem. Number 6, reject HO if J0 greater than 1.96 or if 0 less than negative 1.96. Note that this result from step 4 where we specify equal 0.05. And so the boundaries of the critical region are the at J 0.025 equal 9.96. Number 7. Computation sin x equal 51.3 and equal to. That's our problem, ma'am. Conclusion. Since J0 equal 3.25 greater than 9.96, we reject H0 M equal 50. At the 0.5 level of significance state more completely, we conclude that the mean burning rate difference from the 50 centimeter per second based on the sample of 25 measurement is fact. This is strong evidence that the mean burning rate exceeds 50 centimeter per second. Hypothesis based on the mean. We also develop producers for testing hypothesis on the mean M, where the alternative hypothesis is one side. Suppose that we specify the hypothesis as that's our problem. In defining the critical region for the test, we observe that a negative value of the test statistic J0 will never lead us to conclude that H0 M equal M0 is false. Therefore, we will place the critical region in the upper tail of the standard normal distribution and reject SO of the compute value of 0 is too large. Thus, we will reject SO if that's our formula. P-values in hypothesis test. The p-value is the smallest level of significance that would lead to rejection of the null hypothesis S0 with the given data. For a total test, S0 M equal M0. For a upper tail test, S0 M equal M0. For a lower tail test, S0 M equal M0. That's our formula, ma'am. Type 2. Inner and source of the sample size. Pending the probability of type 2 inner being. Consider the suicide hypothesis. This is our formula, suicide hypothesis. Suppose that the null hypothesis is false in that the true value of the mean is m equal m0 plus n. See where greater than 0. That test statistics J0 is the formula. This is our formula. Type 2 inner and source of sample size, pending the probability of the type 2 inner being. This is our example. The distribution of G0 under S0 and S1. Type 2 inner and source of sample size. Sample size formula. For a two-side alternative hypothesis. This is our formula. The two-side alternative hypothesis. Example. Consider the rocket Papelan problem of example 9.2. Suppose that the analyst wishes to design the test so that if the true means burning rate differs from 50 centimeters per second by as much as 1 centimeter per second, the test will detect a reject H0 M equal 50 with a high probability C 0.990. Now, we note that our problem 2.8 equal 51, negative 50 equal 1. And thus our problem 0.5 and B equal 0.10. Then J2 equal J 0.025 equal 9.96 and GB equal do J 0.10 equal 1.828. The sample size required to detect this departure from S0 M equal 50 is found by equation 9 negative 9 as. Thus our formula in problem. Type 2 inner and source of the sample size using operating characteristic curves. So one set of operating characteristic curve can be used for all problems regardless of the values of M0 and 0. From examine the operating characteristic curve in equation 9 negative 17 and figure 9 negative 7, we note that the true value of the mean M is from M0. The smaller the probability of type 2 inner B for a given in 0. That is, we say that for a specified sample size and a large difference in the mean are easier to detect than small one. Number 2, for a given in 0, the probability of type 2 inner being decrease as in increase that is to detect a specified difference in the mean. When we make the test more powerful, increase the sample size. Example. Consider the propellant problem in example 9.2. Suppose that the analyst and concerned about the probability of type 2 inner of the if the true means burning rate in SM equal 51 centimeter per second. We will use the operating characteristics curve to find B. Note that it equal 51, negative 50 equal 1. N equal 25 equal to N formula 0.05. Then using equation 9 negative 25 give. This our formula in solution. Large sample test. We have developed the size predictor for the null hypothesis H0 M equal M0, assuming that the population is normally distributed and that square is now in many if not most practical situations square will be unknown. Furthermore, we not be certain that the population is well modeled by a normal distribution. In this situation, if n is large, say n rather than 40, the sample standard deviation is can be substituted for 0 in the test purposes with letter epic. Thus, where we have given a test for the mean of a normal distribution with now square, it can be usually converted into a large sample test first there's for unknown square. This is valid regardless of the form of the distribution of the population. This large sample test relies on the central limit theorem just as the large sample confidence interval on M that was presented on the previous chapter did extant of the case where the population is normal square is n now and n is small involves use of the taste distribution and will be different until 6.93. Thank you.
Good day. My name is John Polilistesimo and I'm gonna discuss what is the test on the mean of a normal distribution, variance unknown. So what is it? Testing the mean of a normal distribution with a known variance involves using a t-test. Assumptions. Normality. The data should be approximately normally distributed. You can check this using a histogram, QQ plot, or normally test, or Shapiro-Wilk, Kolmogorov-Smirnov. For larger sample sizes, generally n is greater than 30. The central limit theorem makes the normality assumption less critical. Independence. The observations in your sample should be independent of each other. This means that value of one observation doesn't influence the value of another. Random sampling. The sample should be a random sample from the population of interest. Next is the hypothesis, the two-tailed test. H sub or null hypothesis, or U is equals to U sub O. The population mean is equal to a specified value U sub O. H sub 1 is alternative hypothesis. U is not equal to U sub O. The population mean is not equal to U sub O. Next is one-tailed test, or in the right tail. H sub O is U is greater than equal on U sub O, and H sub 1 is U is greater than U sub O. One-tailed test or left tail is HO U is greater than equal to U sub O, and the H sub 1 is U is less than U sub O. The test statistic. The test statistic for a one-sample t-test is calculated as t is equals to x minus U sub O divided by s divided by square root of n, where x is the sample mean, U sub O is the hypothesized population mean, and S is the sample standard deviation, and N is the sample size. The degrees of freedom. The degrees of freedom, DF, for this test are n-1. The p-value, you'll use the t-distribution with n-1. Degrees of freedom to find the p-value. The p-value represents the probability of observing your sample data, or more extreme data, if the null hypothesis is true. decision. You'll compare the p-value to your chosen significance level, or alpha, typically 0.05. If p-value is greater than equal of alpha, reject the null hypothesis. There is sufficient evidence to support the alternative hypothesis. Next is, if p-value is greater than alpha, fail to reject the null hypothesis. There is not enough evidence to support the alternative hypothesis. Last is the software or calculators. Statistical software packages like R, SPSS, SAS, Python with SciPy, and many calculators can easily perform this test. You'll typically input your data, specify the hypothesized mean, and select the type of test, one-tailed or two-tailed. The software will then calculate the t-statistic, p-value, and confidence interval. So there's an example. So let's say you want to test if the average height of students in a class is different from 170 cm. You collect a sample of 25 students, calculate the sample mean, or x, and sample standard deviation is s, and then perform a two-tailed t-test with USABO, is equals to 170 cm. The software will give you the t-statistic and p-value. Based on the p-value, you'll decide whether to reject or fail to reject the null hypothesis. So that's all. Thank you.
Testing the variance and standard deviation of a normal distribution involves verifying assumption about the variability of a data or comparing it to a hypothesized value. Variance is measured the spread of data points around the mean, and standard deviation is the square root of the variance, representing the average deviation from the mean. So here is the chi-squared formula. N is the sample size, S squared is the sample variance, variance sub 0 squared is the hypothesized variance, then degree of freedom, or the DF, is equals to n minus 1. Compared the calculated x squared to the critical value from the chi-squared distribution. So let us have a sample. Practical example. Suppose you want to test if the variance of a process is 25 based on a sample of n is equals to 10 observation with the sample variance s squared is equals to 20. So our null hypothesis is standard deviation squared is equals to 25, and the h sub 1 is standard deviation raised to 2 is not equal to 25. So we have the significance level is equals to 0.05 since we are confident on it. So let's test the hypothesis. We will all substitute the given value. So for DF is equals to 9 and A is equals to 0.05. So we have a two-tailed, which is the lower critical value and upper critical value. First, the lower critical value is equals to x squared sub 0.25, and the upper critical value is equals to x squared sub 0.97. So we will come up to the answer of lower critical value of approximately 2.7, and the upper critical value is approximately 19.0. Since 2.7 is less than 7.2 and 7.2 is less than to our upper critical value, which is the 19.0, we fail to reject the null hypothesis. The variance is consistent with 25.